Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This story goes back to the 80s, during my school days, when a passion arose in me. Probably it was more out of necessity than anything else that I started practicing karate. You all heard it right. It is karate. A Japanese word meaning kara or empty, and te meaning hand. I learnt it the hard way. I must admit that during those days, I used to idolize this famous person called Bruce Lee. Being very lanky and thin, my friends used to tell me that I could pass off as another Bruce Lee. After years and years of an overdose of Shaolin movies, I ended up one day in this place called a dojo or a school. I wanted to enroll myself in the dojo. When I went to enroll myself, quite a few looked at me in amusement. Being determined, I didn't give up. I enrolled myself in the dojo. That day was the best day of my life, for I remember I was feeling like Bruce Lee myself. I even bought this funky looking weapon called a nunchaku, but hurt myself. I was determined. Within a month, I became an expert in dealing with the nunchaku. I started getting a lot of respect from my class bullies. Some of them, they were trying to figure out the change in me, all of a sudden. Some of them who used to even rough me up, started becoming pally with me. Life became a dream. I was gaining my lost ground. However, the moment of truth was drawing near. I was slowly becoming eligible for a kumite or a fight which I had always dreaded. One fine morning, my Shihan or master, as we call them, came up to me and informed me that I was selected for the state championships. Being the shortest and the skinniest of the lot, it was a big achievement for me. Determined to do well, I landed up at the event only to be told that I would be facing the previous year's champion in my first round itself. I looked up and thought, why me? For those of you who want to know what happened after that, well, the bout lasted just 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds. And the winner is right in front of you. Having finished 4 rounds in 30 to 40 seconds, I was the youngest state champion that year in the history of state championships. I was basking in the glory, enjoying the attention of the media, and as luck would have had it, this gentleman, Mr. Mas Oyama, had himself flown down from Tokyo and was present in the audience. He was overwhelmed at my fighting skills and gave me a standing ovation. This was the best moment of my life and the highest honor for a Kyokushin fighter. He even invited me to Japan for the next year's World Championships. It was a dream come true. Imagine fighting against the best senseis in the world. In the summer of 1986, I landed up in Tokyo with a big dream. Having practiced very hard for 8 months, I was cautiously optimistic. The fact that Mas Oyama would be the judge himself was psyching me up. But I remember when the match list came out, I was up against some of the best fighters in the world. And then the D-Day came. I couldn't sleep at night, thinking about the fight. As Mark Twain once said, it is not about the size of the dog in the fight, but it's about the size of the fight in the dog. I won against 5 of the best players in the world and reached the finals. Having come all the way, I was now determined to stay. The final was against a gentleman called Mori Kawano. He's not in the picture, who was the previous 3 years champion, world champion. The fight started on time, and it was attended by 15,000 strong spectators in a packed stadium. Mas Oyama, as promised, was also there as the judge. We bowed to each other, and the fighting started, the sparring started. The first round, I completely dominated. Mori dominated the second one. That's me. However, from the third round, it was a smooth sail for me. In a matter of just over 35 minutes, I wrapped it up with a complete knockout. Yes, it was a knockout. I was in the seventh heaven, living my dream. Crowned the new world champion by none other than Masti Suwayama. Osh, thank you.